Welcome. I am Gary Gatto, and this is RaceVerse coverage of Round 8 of Season 2 of 22 of the RaceVerse Formula Indy Series, coming to you from one of the world's fastest super speedways of Michigan International for the Michigan Endeavor 250. Joining me for expert analysis in the booth, he's my partner from our Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split coverage. He's from the NHR Esports team and the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by Butt Kicker. Please welcome Stephen Larkamp. Well, Stephen, it's the wild card race of the season. Yeah. Where almost anything goes. Tell us about what you've seen so far in practice and what we can expect to see here on the 2-mile oval tonight.
Well, wild card would definitely be the phrase I would use here. Given that what we've seen this season has been the utter dominance of Mitch Welker, this could be the track where things start to get a little bit pear-shaped for Welker a little bit, at least for a week or so. Michigan, of course, is legendary for its pack racing, side-by-side, 3-wide, 4-wide action, and that is not conducive to a driver who has had a habit of starting from the pole and running away like Welker has. But it's going to lead to some really close racing and some new faces, perhaps, up towards the front of the field. This could definitely be, as you said, the wild card race, if there will be one this season.
Well, there you see. We got about a minute, 2 minutes, just less than 2 minutes left in practice. Dakota DeMade on the pole, or not on the pole. He wishes he's on the pole. We'll see if he's on the pole, but he is the fastest here in practice here. Keep in mind, these are all probably draft-aided numbers. 223.936. Alex Vanasek, 223.666 or 660. Ramirez is in there at a 223.250. Shane Coogan, oof, and we watch him collect on the backstretch now. Shane Coogan, probably one of the wild cards tonight, 223.2. A little bit further down, Ledesma, Miranda, Seifker, Aldrich, and there is Mitch Welker, 222.838, which is ties him for 9th fastest in this practice session here up in Michigan.
Indeed, Welker in a position where he's not entirely used to being. And Welker, he said before coming into this race that it was the one that he was looking forward to the least. And the reason for that probably would be because he's certainly more of a road course racer. I kind of fall into that category as well. But Michigan, it's going to be a track where the normal road course racing mentality doesn't really apply. You're not really going to be looking too much for nailing down hot laps unless you're in qualifying. You're going to be working in the draft and you're going to be working with other people around you. And that's not exactly something that road racers tend to do very often. Unless, of course, it's something like, I don't know, Watkins Glen without the boot and without the chicane.
Here's another wild card we're looking at. Drew White, another guy to keep your eye on, another one of the oval aces here in the Formula Indy Series. Of course, Formula Indy Series, predominantly a road course series. Do standing starts a la Formula 1. But once a season, they will get out on the ovals. I'm not sure how much longer that will be a tradition in this series, but they still hit the ovals once a season. Typically it's here or California or Indianapolis, and seemed like everyone wanted to come back to Michigan. So there are 3 pretty significant track records here at Indianapolis as it relates to Indy cars. First, we have the USAC track record, which was set in July of 78 by Tom Sneva. And keep in mind, this is July of 78. Okay, so he set it with a speed of 211.392 miles per hour. Again, let me say that again. July of 1978, 211.392 miles per hour, which was an increase of 11 miles per hour just from a season before. Of course, that is the championship season there for Tom Sneva, where he went winless, and that's one of the reasons why he won that championship, is he always starting up front. The kart track record set back in 2000 by Paul Tracy with a speed of 234.949. The IRL IndyCar track record set by Thomas Scheckter in 2003, when they were still using the IR03 Dallara and G-Force chassis with a speed of 222.458 miles per hour. You're going to see the top 35 qualify tonight. I don't think we're going to see any bumping. Let me check the timing scoring screen on that one just to be sure. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any bumping tonight. And one thing to talk about that you've seen a lot of oval races here on RaceVerse and on other broadcasters, the apron is not in play at all at any point during this race. They can use it during qualifications, but they absolutely cannot use it during the race.
Indeed, and though if I'm being completely fair to them, the only time I personally would ever use the apron in the race is if I'm going side by side with a guy for the win coming to the checkered flag. That apron is more of a killer if you actually try to use it in the middle of the race. It can be absolutely brutal. It can send the car around. Even the low line on the normal part of the track has a bit of a reputation of sending cars around that are not careful, and that is one of the little tricks that can lead to victory or defeat here at Michigan. There's a lot of little factors that can lead up to some big results.
And once again, apron bad.
Apron very bad here, particularly.
3 minutes left here in provisional qualifying. Caleb Benzie on the pole. Unfortunately, he's got himself an EOL, so this is only going to give him good position on pit road, but will turn the pole over to Dakota the Maid. Christopher Hill currently sitting in second with a 221.235. DeTurk 221.043. Sanders 220.833. Aldrich now moves up into the 5th spot, 220.875. Shane Coogan, watch him tonight, 220.876. Valenzuela 220.712. Miglin 220.624, and Byron Daly making his appearance again in the series. Good to see him. Just got bumped down a little bit as we got some faster cars coming in. But Matt Houston, as we were watching the boss man go around, puts himself in the middle of the top 10, provisionally 6th with a 220.910 as he does his cool down lap on the backstretch. Should not surprise anybody watching tonight that about 51% of you are not subscribers. So let's change that right now. Help us on our drive to 1,000 subscribers. If you enjoy RaceVerse coverage of the Formula Indy Series and you respect the stream, please do us a solid and make sure you support us by subscribing. We have less than 70 subscribers to go to get to the magical 1,000 mark. So help us by hitting that subscribe button right now. We cannot get there without you. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future RaceVerse iRacing broadcasts. So now it's almost time to get into this thing here in the Irish Hills. And what are you seeing so far?
Well, Benzie, of course, on provisional pole for the time being. I'm seeing Alex Van de Sant going out on his qualifying run. And I'm seeing Mitch Welker has not posted a time. In fact, he's actually disconnected from the server right now. Maybe some technical issues he's having to deal with here tonight. But Welker looks like he'll be starting in the back regardless with a minute to go. So certainly not something that the championship leader wants to have right now. I know he was not too keen about this race, but I think he ought to have a good result here tonight just to show everybody wrong. But not exactly the most auspicious start from that, as I'm watching Van de Sant coming off of turn number 4, using that high line as basically his wind-up lap, as it were, on lap number 1 of his qualifying run with a 34.916. He's down in 27th right now, and this is the money lap right here.
Yeah, he's got it glued to the yellow line at the moment right now. Showing 28 cars actually entered into the session, so we're not going to see any bumping. But Mitch Welker, if he does go qualify or take a no qual and decide to start from the rear, has a long way to go. But Michigan's one of those tracks where you can recover quickly. Here comes Alex down to the line. There you see him using the apron and completing his lap, and that will move him to...
That's pole
position as time expires.
Right, on the money.
Talk about surgical accuracy right there. Should have surprised you. That's Alex Van de Sant.
Van de Sant was definitely one of those guys I had my eye for when it came to an oval track like this. The guy's very talented and pretty much any kind of track he goes to, but this is definitely one of his best shots to break the trend that is Mitch Welker. And I'm seeing the penalties going out. Benzie going to the back. Valenzuela also has an EOL. And now getting ready to send them off for 125 laps in the Irish Hills.
Well, let's get the starting lineup, shall we?
And on the pole, as said before, is Alex Van de Sant with that brilliant lap right at the end. Caleb Benzie would start second, of course, but as mentioned before, he has to go to the back for a penalty. Dakota DeMay would start third. Christopher Hill will be taking Benzie's spot in second as he starts fourth. Christopher Kresge will be on row 3 in 5th place in the 777. Alongside him will be Michael DeTurk in the number 40. Cristobal Valenzuela and Matt Houston, 33 and 66. They make up 7th and 8th. 5th row of the grid, Nick Johnston, always a threat on the road courses. Let's see what he can do here. His number 28 starts 9th. He'll be alongside AJ Digby's number 81, rounding out the top 10. Victor Aldrich in the 98, he'll start 11th. Alongside him, Gavin Sanders in the number 10, not exactly the start he wants here tonight. And then back on row 7, Shane Coogan in the number 29. He'll be alongside Nate Siefker, a former champion in the series, of course. Bruno Miranda and Jose Ramirez will start 15th and 16th. That's row 8. Row 9 will be Daniel Miglin in the number 4 and Byron Daly's number 90. Cody Claiborne in a very colorful looking fish car this week. He'll be starting his number 31 in 19th. Alongside him, Sahaj Padhiyar, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, in the number 72. That's your top 20. Logan Spath in the number 3. He'll start 21st. Alongside Frankie Franciccia's number 96. Row 12, Drew White in the 15, alongside Alex Carver's number 73, 23rd and 24th. And row number 13, Hugo Galaz will start 26th. He'll be alongside Matthew Short in 25th, the number 35 and 27th in the proper order. Angel Ledesma's number 62 will start 27th as our last qualifier. And Mitch Welker, he will start last, and he has not joined the server, so that may be a DNS for Mitch Welker. As now Bensi starts to go to the back, and Valenzuela as well to serve their penalties. They're going to have more work to do, but it's evident for all of us that they got pace and they want to show it.
And they got to hurry up and get these cars by them here, because the leaders are quickly approaching turn 3 for the start of this race.
They got time to get them squared away. It looks like they're doing that pretty well so far. It's going to be Alex Van de Sant and Christopher Hill, 1 and 2 on this start, after everything gets shaken up a little bit with the outside front row man of Bensi going all the way to the back. It's going to be 125 laps to make it up, though. Let's see who has the best moves in Michigan. Waiting on the pace car.
There we go. Hazy and hot today, getting ready to go green.
Van de Sant bringing them to the line pretty slowly right now, waiting for his chance. Green flag flies. We're
Big
racing
jump
in Michigan. Great jump by Van de Sant, and that puts Hill under pressure right now from Dakota DeMade going into turn number 1.
Matt Houston.
Houston also on the move. That's Christopher Kresge being left behind in the dust. Michael DeTurk in that pure white car. He is battling out hard with the boss man right now, but it is going to be Van de Sant leading the way down the back straightaway for the first time. DeMade and Hill looking side by side into 3. Hill has the advantage.
Oh, look at the arrow push going through 3. These drivers starting to fight it already.
Still too wide stuff through a good chunk of the field there, but they are going to have to worry about that arrow push. It's Van de Sant leading lap number 1. Hill tucks in behind him in P2. DeMade looking to the high side now on Christopher Hill. Let's see if he can pull that off. Matt Houston lying in wait there as well, and Michael DeTurk also looking to make some moves happen. And also making moves happen, I will say, Nick Johnston. It's a good start for him from 9th to 6th so far. And look at this, 3 wide here. Look at Matt Houston on the low side up to P2.
Matt feeling racy tonight. Come on, boss man. And he's going to take a look to the down low, going underneath Alex Van de Sant and to the lead. Matt Houston in the RaceVerse car.
8th to the lead in 2.5 laps for Matt Houston. This is the kind of stuff that we expect to see here at Michigan. And now I'm seeing DeTurk going side by side with Hill going into 3. This battle will not end. I'm going to say that right here, right now. This sort of racing does not end anytime soon.
Now, stupid question. When do you start thinking about fuel?
Well, given that these cars can usually get around 40 laps of fuel here, I think fuel mileage may be a concern for a few of these guys here, especially with 5 laps of a margin from 40 that you're going to have to work at, and you're going to have to save that extra splash and dash at the end. I think, though with cautions, that could be a little bit easier, but around lap 40, I would think they want to stretch this fuel out as far as they possibly can and save as much as they can to avoid having to splash and go at the end of this race. And now swap that lead to Dakota DeMaid, I will say. He's moved himself up to the point
Cars
right now.
wrecking. And we got championship contender in the wreck. We got Christopher Kresge, I believe, in that event as well. We have one of my wild cards, Shane Coogan, who was my teammate in the Lionheart Series last night. He's in the wall. Nick Johnston in the wall. And already Drew White showing damage. So Matthew Short showing damage a little bit further on back. Dan Miglin showing some damage. So a big one. And let's go back in time a little bit and go a little bit further back in the field from the perspective of probably Drew White, Matthew Short, Dan Miglin, and see what happened in front of them.
Yeah, and looking at this contact here, it was it was a bit of contact between Kresge and Johnston that tipped off this incident right here. I think Kresge may have gotten spooked by the 10 of Gavin Sanders peeking his nose to the inside into one, kind of maybe misjudged the amount of room he had there and just comes up into Johnston. And sadly, one other car involved in the wreck, trying to make out who that was. That was the 28, that was the 29 of Shane Coogan. He was just a victim of circumstance after that, and whoever else got piled in as well. Similar deal as Coogan in that case.
And we might have had multiple incidents on that particular lap. Let's take a look here at Matthew Short.
And Short coming down onto pit road. I'm not seeing any, not seeing much damage on him, but he was actually definitely involved in the sort of the aftermath of that one. He gets sent onto the grass, and oh, that was a big hit actually. Sends around. I'm trying to see, that was Drew White he hits coming back up off the track and coming back onto the track, and just Drew was just sent around for a ride.
Yeah, we had multiple incidents happen in that lap. So here we see Matthew Short. It was a lap before Miglin was involved in. Yeah, here's the wreck. Oh, and he just cuts right to the end. Oh. Yeah, that was a little bit more of a he probably had a lot of room down there in the apron, not have to go to the grass, but that was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction there, and unfortunately took out, he side-checked Drew White, unfortunately. So let's get back into the race. I don't think we're going to have anyone making pit stops unless you're probably a little bit further towards the back. Looks like Houston went ahead, has stopped. So have Sanders, Bensey. Bensey has worked his way up to the 15th spot. Miranda stopped. Aldridge stopped. Claiborne stopped. Ledesma stopped. Gallas stopped. And everyone else behind Gallas from 20th on back was in part of the incident. So an early incident in the race. Logan Spath looks like he is out already. Dan Miglin in another incident looks like he's out. And then, of course, with the big one, we had Johnston, Kresge, Coogan, White, and Short all involved in that bigger one that happened at lap about 5 or 6. And now we are back underway here, riding along with our leader, Dakota DeMaid.
Still going to be cycling them around at least one more time. It's Dakota DeMaid, Alex Van de Sant, Christopher Hill, Michael DeTurk, and AJ Digby. Right now, your top 5. Digby to a solid start right now. But these laps are definitely going to help basically everyone's cause when it comes to fuel. The guys that pitted, they got extra fuel in the tank, so that helps them in any case. And the guys that are staying out, they're definitely going to be in map 8 trying to save as much fuel as they possibly can. And that's what I'm seeing with Van de Sant. He's going all the way down on the low line there, not quite on the apron yet.
Yeah,
but Van de Sant also trying to save fuel by going the shortest distance. Yeah,
very strategic move. We talked about that and then other coverage that we've had here in RaceVerse this week about that is the shortest way around, the best way to save precious drops of fuel, whether you're liters or gallons, but that is the quickest way around here. And I'm surprised he's not actually below you can ride on the apron. When I say the apron is out of bounds, apron is out of bounds for racing. However, taking laps under caution, the apron is not out of bounds, and he could go down there if he wanted, but he is right above it, but he's still taking a lower line, much lower line than everyone else around him.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see that, and maybe that he doesn't, and then maybe not taking anything for granted there. Maybe he didn't think that the rules would allow that. But in any case, Van de Sant trying to save fuel as much as he can. Everybody getting in the line all the way up on the top side of the track. getting ready for the green. It'll be lap 9 of 125 on this first restart. Pace car peeling off. Dakota DeMade bringing them to the line. Gets on the throttle now. Green flag flying once more. DeMade gets himself a good jump. Van de Sant stayed with him reasonably well, I would think. And, of course, it's not going to matter too much in the end. Of course, the draft is going to help Van de Sant, Hill, and company very, very quickly.
And, unfortunately, all my wild cards are out already.
Man, it's maybe a bit of commentator's curse on your end, Gary. Maybe I don't have it this time.
Well, I had our points leader picked. I was gonna support him today, as everyone says it's the one they're gonna pick on him, and we chose to do a DNS, and then our other oval experts of Coogan and White take it out early. So yeah, I guess my picks are no longer there. So maybe it's time to put faith in somebody else here in this lineup.
Top 6 starting to pull away from the rest of the pack behind them. There's a battle behind them. That's Jose Ramirez and Byron Daly battling it out for P7. But this front pack looking like they've got themselves a bit of a gap right now. It's definitely not insurmountable, but they have themselves a bit of an edge right now. Maybe if they work together, they'll be able to pull out a bit of a gap while everyone else behind starts battling them out and losing the draft, as Van de Sant going all the way down the low line. And Nate Sievker going down low as well, trying to make the move on Christopher Hill for third.
Wow, Matt Houston going 3 wide off of 2 on the high side, getting a big run down the backstretch.
Got to remember, Houston's on the freshest rubber. The same can be said for Gavin Sanders and all the guys that pitted towards the back. Houston is going to have fresh rubber on all these guys. It's going to help him that little bit more, I would think. And Houston, no doubt, has pace all the way up to P12 right now. And of all things, of all the people here, he does not want to see the guys running 7th and 8th. They don't want to see. He doesn't want to see them lose the draft, because if he can get back up there, he can sort of I call it monkey barring. He can monkey bar your way up to that lead pack.
Yeah, leapfrog, handoff, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, as long as you can stay within a second and a half of the cars in front of you, you're going to be in this draft, and the draft plays a role every single inch of this this 2-mile oval and this 250-mile event today.
Michael DeTurk now has got Jose Ramirez. That pack really has closed up. I think here's oh, someone's in the wall behind him. Oh, contact, someone's around. That's Padahar. The Haj Padahar, and the number 72 sent around off of turn number 2. Second caution of the night is out. I think it was just sent in the wall by Aero Push on that one and just got collected by another car behind.
Yeah, let's rewind it just a little bit. There's another car that made contact. That might have been Victor Aldrich. We'll see. Yeah,
it was Aldrich.
And Aero Push, boop, right to the wall. He checks up, collects, not sure who that was. Alex Carver. So Carver might have to stop with a bit of damage, but then also Victor Aldrich comes through with some contact. He has a floppy left front right now at the moment and missing a wing, so we'll see if they'll be able to get that repaired. That's a shame. Aldrich is among the leaders of the Safest Driver Award, which we will get to here momentarily. Right now, we'll clear off here all the other graphics here, but we do have some stuff we need to show you as part of just normal broadcast. But the safest driver is right now being tracked by the league, and Victor Aldrich was second, followed by Matt Houston, Jose Ramirez, and Nick Johnston. Your leader is Christopher Hill. He is the safest driver in terms of laps per incident. Christopher Hill, 8.2 laps every time for every one incident that he gets. Victor Aldrich, 6.3. Matt Houston, 6.2. Ramirez, 5.9, 5.8. So kind of a badge of honor here in terms of who is the safest driver. Let's take a look at the last race. We were on the road course here in Detroit. Mitch Welker, of course.
Pit road, by the way.
All right, we'll take a look there back when we get back. Mitch Welker was the winner, and unfortunately, Mitch has chosen not to take the lineup for this particular race. Might be a good thing. I don't know. It's kind of turned into a bit of a an interesting race very early on, attrition-wise, as we now only have 20 cars remaining of the 27 that actually took the green. But that is the results from our last race. Here is the point situation. Mitch Welker, well, he is going to take a hit. This will probably be his drop week. So this point situation does include drop weeks, but next week when we see it, it will include his drop week for his lowest race, which I think his lowest race might be prior to today, 3rd place. So that will change differently.
He was.
But Nicholas Johnson is actually, he's probably going to have this be his drop race as well. Bruno Miranda, though, is the one looking to capitalize the most. Bruno's a storm. He is still, I believe he's still on the racetrack. He is currently in 13th, and his MO is to going to survive here and try to rake in as many points as possible. But he is P3, Gavin Sanders P4, Jose Ramirez 5th, Matthew Short 6th, Echevarria 7th, Hill 8th, Caleb Bency 9th, and Keown is 10th. A number of these cars are not making their start here, so we will see some fluidity in these points in the points championship. But I'm sure Welker will probably still be our leader. Team points. It's Team Watson by TWR. Your team leader is the team points leader by about 30 over Welker's team, but with Welker not taking to the lineup and starting, that might leave a gap for Team Kamagoya, who is currently in 1st and in 11th at the moment, to make some way in the team standings in 3rd place and try to take a swing at P2 there in the championship. But that is your team standings. But as you mentioned, we are back to race action. And you did say that Alex Van Ascent did stop on pit road to top off and get a new set of tires. That has moved him back to 9th. So far, everyone is pitted on the racetrack with the exception of the top 7, which is Dakota DeMade, Nate Siefker, Christopher Hill, Michael DeTurk, AJ Digby, Jose Ramirez, and Frankie Franchica. They have all chosen to stay out for the time being, cycling under yellow.
In the case of Van de Sam right now, this has cemented him as the strategy where he doesn't really care that much from fuel from here on out, from lap 16 onwards. He's got a pretty straightforward game plan, it would seem, and he really doesn't have to worry about saving fuel all that much. But with the amount of cautions we've been getting so far early on in this race, DeMade and company might be in a better position fuel-wise than they would be in any other circumstance. The pace car peels off. DeMade, bring him to the line. Siefker actually gets a good jump. He follows DeMade very closely on that restart. Green flag flies. Siefker down to the low side right now, and maybe trying to break the draft to Christopher Hill.
It's got a message here in chat from Mad Mike, who is Mitch's spotter. And he had a family emergency right at the time of going into qualifications, and opted not to run the night. So family first, and unfortunately our points leader will move to another week as the points leader, but we will not be seeing him tonight. Hope things all's well with him. Currently watching this restart as Seifer is now your leader. See JJ Wang there in chat saying Matthew Short is terrible at ovals. Matthew Short coming in and saying that he probably could have handled that situation a little bit better, but you're taking it in stride. James Watson, who's not in tonight's lineup, says showing some pain. I guess a number of his team cars are now out of the race. Doug Smith saying this setup is going to make things packy. I think early on in runs we'll see a lot of pack racing. Later in the runs we're not going to see pack racing.
Yeah, it's looking to me the kind of nature of the setup seems to be looking to me that it's going to tend to a pack race for the majority of the time. But as the tires start to wear in, you're going to be picking one line to minimize tire wear and really minimize the amount of pressure you put on your rubber. So you're going to be finding one line and basically sticking with it, and that could well be the high side for a lot of people.
Very happy to see TPR, Team TPR out here, or TPRP, excuse me, I believe. They are, I believe, they are all from Puerto Rico, or if I misunderstood them right. And if that's the case, good to see them having, we got a car contact. Digby contact off the backstretch to Turk going into the wall, going to the inside.
Michael DeTurk in trouble. He's all the way around there. I'm trying to
Caution.
see if Digby's in trouble. Caution is out.
Digby lost the front wing.
Yep, that is no right front wing on AJ.
We were just
machine,
we were just
Michael
watching that
DeTurk.
battle. We were just watching that battle because they were pretty tightly packed in a nice three-car pack. Ramirez, as I was giving them a compliment of making the race, if that's there indeed in Puerto Rico because of the hurricane down there. He was just kind of lined up behind saving fuel, and it looks like Digby got a run off of corner number 2. DeTurk might have had to check up just a tick, and Digby ran into the back of DeTurk and sent him into the wall, and then off the wall, DeTurk goes into the infield wall. But Digby is minus a front wing, and I hope he can see that, or I hope he's getting some sort of meatball, because he is going to find out that IndyCar does not handle very well with only one aeroplane.
Speaking from personal experience, I can confirm that to be true.
And I'm not airplane, I mean aeroplane.
Yeah. Yeah, say it the proper way, of course, not the not the American way. Siefker bringing the whole of the front pack on the pit road on lap 21, and quite a few more behind as well. Only a few staying out. I see Gavin Sanders now
staying out. Yeah,
about to cycle to the lead.
Yep, Gavin Sanders is going to stay out. He's going to bring the boss man, Matt Houston, with him. Also coming up into the order is Cristobal Valenzuela. I believe we're going to see 2 of the backfire cars. Nope, we're going to see the fish car. There's a fish car. There's that colorful fish car that we were talking about. Let's get a good shot of him right here. Look at that thing. Talk about multicolored scales. You name it. There's not a single fish in the sea that color, but today that fish is on the 2 Mile Superspeedway here at Michigan. But there he is. He cycled up to the 4th spot. Of course, he currently is working on the longest winless streak here in the FIS at 35 consecutive races. So could this be the Fish Cars weekend?
It could possibly be. I mean, maybe a bit of a lame pun here, but I've heard of rainbow trout, but that's a little bit excessive, I would think.
Alex Van de Sant, by staying out, he has moved himself up to 5th. Of course, we don't think he's really running fuel conserve from the remainder of this race forward, but he is in the 5th spot. Seifer coming out of the pits ahead of DeMade in 6th. Here's Dakota DeMade in 7th. Christopher Hill 8th. Byron Daly 9th. Jose Ramirez 10th. Having 17 cars on the track. And let's take a look at AJ Digby and see if he got fixed. Yeah, he is back underway. New nose on the car. And he now will cycle back to the rear of the pack. And hopefully damage is not too much for that matte black Dallara of his with the shiny chrome purple nose there.
Everybody's starting to get themselves into order right now. Gavin Sanders, Matt Houston, Valenzuela. So the order definitely shakes itself up yet again, but that's something we come to expect at a track like Michigan.
And folks, we still have a long way to go. We still have over 100 laps. Lights are out on the pace car. So just to do some business here, if you're just joining us, this is RaceVerse coverage of the Formula Indy Series coming to you from Michigan International. We've completed just 23 of 125 laps. I think we're in our 3rd or 4th caution. I want to thank everyone for watching. And while you're here, don't forget to click like. I want you to subscribe because we are on our run to 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't done that, do that now, and then click the bell for notifications. But that's kind of the situation up to speed status where we are right now here at Michigan. The top 5 or 4 are a completely different strategy pit-wise than everyone else. The first car back, that's definitely on a strategy that can go the distance here on the least number of stops, we believe, is Alex Van de Sant.
Getting ready to bring him to green once more. Pace car comes down. This time it's Gavin Sanders in a position he would love to see all the other tracks, including here. He gets on the throttle. Green flag flies. Matt Houston trying to stay with him this time as Sanders trying to throw a little bit of aero wash over the cars around them as they head into turn one, trying to throw them out of the draft a little bit. But Houston gets right up on the rear bumper as already we're seeing
comes the boss man.
Matt Houston on the charge. Here he comes into 3, side by side, and now they go for it. Matt Houston put that 66 car up to P1. Gavin Sanders, though, they're kind of giving themselves their own little gap right now, but I would imagine that right now, Cristobal Valenzuela, Alex Van de Sant, and Cody Claiborne, they're looking at this right now and thinking, how can this battle benefit me? Well, pretty simple. They fight each other, they slow themselves up, and you can catch them in the draft a lot easier. And of course, the draft is a big help in any case, but I'm looking behind them. Van de Sant and Valenzuela seem to be kind of playing the same game Sanders and Houston are right now.
Yeah, they are racing pretty hard right now.
Van de Sant around the outside off of turn 4. He does clear him, move that 97 machine back up to P3. The pole sitter once again on the charge, and I would imagine he is looking at Sanders and Houston in front of him and thinking, I think I can get in on this fun as well.
Now, to mention something here about Gavin Sanders. Gavin Sanders is tied with Mitch Welker, or actually Mitch Welker is tied with Gavin Sanders for the most wins in series history. Gavin might have an opportunity to take the lead back if he gets a victory today, and he could do that on the oval. And I'm gonna defend Gavin here a little bit. Last night on the Lionheart Speedway Series broadcast, the color commentator called him not an oval racer. Man, you do not know Gavin Sanders well enough to call him not an oval racer. He might race road courses for real in real life predominantly, but he is, in my time I've known him, we've got a three-way battle for the lead going in the 1, 3 wide going in the 1 right now. In the middle is Alex Van de Sant. But I've been a teammate of Gavin for the better part of a year and a half, and if there's anyone that if there's any better oval racer out there, there's not very many other than Gavin Sanders. Side by side, Gavin Sanders, Alex Van de Sant down the backstretch. Matt Houston tucked in to try to get some extra fuel mileage in there into the draft, going in the 3. Down low, Gavin Sanders getting the fastest way around right now. Matt Houston kind of pushed up, got to check up a little bit, keeps it off. Alex Van de Sant racing down the front straight at the tri-oval. Matt Houston getting the position. Matt Houston's taking low now down in the turn 1, and he will move to the lead position. He has not credited for the lead yet because he has not let a lap, and he gets a little squirrely off of 2. That's going to open the door for all 3 cars here to get a run on him. And unfortunately, it looks like Alex Van de Sant might have been trapped behind him.
And looking right now, if you thought the pack was already a bit nuts before, it's just been joined by the half pack behind him as well. Basically, all of the top 10 and a bit more are all within a second and a half of each other. This battle just got from fun to even more fun with more people joining the party. Here. But Gavin Sanders still leads the way. Houston staying with him there. Ooh, look at Van de Sant just being a little bit aggressive on exit of the corner there. And now this pack behind him, this is going to get interesting right now. Oh, look at this move down low.
Byron Daly just shot out and decides that he wanted to go down to the bottom. Might not be the fastest way around, especially when these tires get a little squirrely, and it caused Caleb Bency to kind of check up a little bit. Caleb has worked his way up, even though he started, I believe he might have a front row spot. Byron Daly just getting a run on the high side there over Seifer. He had to start from the rear of the field with an EOL, so Caleb Bency has worked his way back up to the front again. But this is this battle in the mid-pack. Let's not take our eyes off it.
Yeah, this battle really getting feisty, and the mid-pack is pretty close to the front pack as well. With all the cars that we have left running, we have 17 cars left on the lead lap. As looking right now, I'm seeing Bency trying to go to the high side of both Seifer and Jose Ramirez. This is for 8th place. Bency trying to make up for that penalty. We knew he had pace. Let's see if he can exploit that. He's down to the low side right now on Ramirez. You gotta be very careful though with the aero wash of the car in front of you though. You can't be as aggressive as you would want to be and just claim that position right then and there. You gotta fight the cars around you as much as you gotta fight your own.
So some slightly different strategies at the front. Alex Van der Sant last pitted 11 laps ago. Gavin Sanders 18. Matt Houston 26. So we got a whole different spread of strategies up at the front.
Sanders once again taking that lead away from Van der Sant. Houston still looking to and still holding on to that position there. Christopher Hill has just gotten side by side with Cody Claiborne, but the Fish car is holding on to 4th place right now. And now 3 wide right now with Byron Daly up top and Jose Ramirez down low. And Hill doing the smart thing right now, and he doesn't want any part of that. He backs out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was almost close. That was a close call right there.
No.
Christopher Hill just gets out of that one. Close stuff, but he lives to fight another day.
And now we're seeing cars as far back as Alex Carver now into the battle. So all the way back to 14th is really part of this lead draft. Actually, AJ Digby is kind of part of it as well. He's threatening to lose the draft at the moment, but he is back in 15th. I'm not sure where Hugo Gallas is. Hugo Gallas looks like he's making laps by himself as well as Ledesma. But the top 14, 15 cars are all pretty close together.
Top 15 within 2.5 seconds of each other. That shows how close racing at Michigan is. And it's one of the reasons why the drivers love Packard, love the kind of racing you have here, but also kind of are scared of it as well. It's the kind of scary fun you kind of expect on a roller coaster in some ways, and when it's all the more fitting, I would think, as Van der Sant once again goes to the low side of Sanders and takes the race lead. Sanders tends to get it back at the line, though, kind of going the way Michael Andretti and Juan Montoya did here in 2000 with the back and forth at the start of this race. Working lap 36 right now.
Oh, here comes a pair of RaceVerse cars.
Here comes Bensi. Bensi on the move with Matt Houston. Houston trying to bring him along, but Byron Daly on that low side trying to stick with Van der Sant and trying to make that low line work. And here come the RaceVerse machines trying to make that top side happen, but not quite working there as Ramirez ducks back in the line behind them.
Yeah, Ramirez had to kind of check up there a little bit and get back in line. Byron Daly, he's making sure that that high side is not going to be used by Matt Houston. He closes the door up there on the highest grip strip possible on this racetrack.
Bensi losing a spot to Ramirez going into 1. Matt Houston, though, stuck behind Byron Daly right now as Bensi tries to go to the low side. There is that lost momentum, though. And Ramirez shoots around the outside. Cody Claiborne tried to get the run, but checks up there as Bensi tries to get back into his lane.
I think Cody might have given him a bit of a break there.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to damage his car as much as Bensi doesn't want to damage his.
And again, they're not all part of the same team, but they all kind of associate, right? So they're here to race each other, but they're certainly not here to wreck each other. And I'm sure that's kind of what was going there with Cody, as Cody now loses another position. Well, he actually gains it back on the high side. Here comes Nate Seifer very patiently in the lower part of the top 10, kind of just riding this thing out. He's got his teammate with him, Christopher Hill, right there, following him on through on the other side of Cody Claiborne.
Yeah, Claiborne, though, going to have the draft there, actually, as Diefker goes down the low side to help his teammate trying to get by. Not quite working there yet, but a good effort. Good job helping your teammate there. That's good team play. That's sort of the stuff that we like to see teammates do.
Yeah, that's something that you don't see, being that we're primarily a road course series. I think you don't see where, teammates helping each other with the draft. You're heading down the backstretch, you'll get on the radio and you'll say, hey, Gav, come down, help me out. And, Gav will pull down, and then, you can pick up his draft, and you can use then that to gain your momentum and suck the through the air alongside the guy that you're trying to race there. Byron Daly setting it down 3 wide, trying for the lead. Just not the fast line, and he's loose coming off of 2.
Daly, of course, a very experienced oval driver, but that is enough to give him a fright. He backs off there, wisely so. Gets himself back in about P6 right now. He's lived to fight another day on that one, but it's still going to be Sanders holding on to that top spot.
And that is a something of learned by experience with these cars. When you get through halfway through a fuel run, which exactly where we are right now, trying to use the banking to go from high to low on the exit of 2, these cars will get loose. And but you see him staying on the high side, using the draft of Caleb Vinci to get the run, express run over Matt Houston. Matt Houston now falling back to P7, but we still have those teammate cars of Hill and Seifert still kind of working together and kind of picking up one position after another here in the top 10 as they move now their way up into the bottom portion of the top 5.
As Hill looking to the inside of Houston, I would imagine if I'm in Hill and Seifker's position, especially as the tires start to wear out later on in the stint, I would think that I wouldn't be as aggressive as I would if I were in that lead pack right now, trying to save rubber and get your pit stops in clean and trying to jump people on fresh rubber after your pit stop cycle has finished. That'd probably be the game plan I would look for if I were in Seifker and Hill's position right now. We'll see what they have cooked up to close the gap and really fight at the end of this race, because I would think they're playing the long game. But just as I say that, Seifker right up on the back of Daly. This is a battle for 5th now. And Seifker now going to look to the low side in the turn number 3. That lead swap between Sanders and Van de Sant really hasn't changed all that much. Van de Sant leads off at 2. Sanders leads off at 4 and at the stripe when iRacing's timing and score, he says that's the only time that matters.
And yeah, we got Ramirez now is up there. He's playing a role. Let's get some cameras up to the front here. There we go. There's Ramirez. Hey, tonight's race from Michigan is sponsored by C-Jazz Endeavors. From commercials, video games, to books and blurbs. If you have voice work of any sort that needs to be done, Christian Jasper is your guy. He is not in tonight's lineup, but hey, you know what? That means he's ready to help you right now with your latest project or work. Demos are ready upon request, and he's eager to work on your project today. Contact Christian on Twitter at CJazz. That's CJAZ Endeavors, all one word there, on Twitter today. We want to thank them for sponsoring today's race here at Michigan, the the Michigan Endeavor, or the Endeavor Michigan 250. There we go. But right now we got the 3 cars endeavoring now to be the winner up at the front, now joined by Caleb Bency, and slowly working his way back into the picture, Byron Daly.
Yeah, and I would think, especially since we're getting around the point where the pit stop window would open in earnest for our first green flag stops, I would think that they're just going to be riding in the position they are, prepping for their pit stops right now, maybe go for positions of opportunity. But Bency now down to the low side of Ramirez, side by side through 3 and 4, and Van de Sant lost a ton of momentum there up on that high line, and that has brought Bency right up alongside him, but Van de Sant is going to tow Ramirez back along by that number 21.
That's what the draft there. You got a very good illustration of how the draft here works at Michigan. So the starting of the first round of pit stops, Matt Houston is probably going to be that guy. He is right now 40 laps into his current stint, so he is looking at making a stop here anytime. He'll have at least another stop after. So he is about 42 laps into his current stint. Probably one of the reasons why he's fallen back a little bit. He's probably turned down the engine map a little bit and is trying to stay in the draft in order to maximize mileage. But he is really looking for a caution right now. Alex Van de Sant is 27 laps under his current stint as well. He, Ramirez, Bency, Daly, Seifker, and Hill all on the same strategy. Gavin Sanders.
Car slow off of turn number 2. That's Dakota DeMade in trouble on the apron. Something has happened to the 82 on that, and coming off of 2 there, and he is dropped like a stone. Oh, I think he may have either got loose or he clipped the wall there. Yeah, he did. He clipped the wall. And Van de Sant reporting a spin off of turn number 2, and the car slow down there on the back stretch. That's Angel Ledesma's number 62 machine, and I think, and that's looking to me right now that tire wear is becoming a major concern.
Yeah, that's Dakota right into. It's a kiss, but it might be a damaging kiss.
Yeah, these cars cannot take a hit like a stock car can, not in the slightest. You have got to keep it off of not just the wall, but the other cars around you to keep the car, in most cases, in any way drivable. But Sanders still holding on to the lead. Van de Sant down the low line there. He's getting forced out of that spot. That's Bensi shooting around the outside up to P2.
Matt Houston, 44 laps under this current stint. Now, keep in mind, there was a little bit of yellow in there. It was rough going here to start this race. In the first 23 laps or so, we had 3 or 4 yellows, but as we got things situated, it's been all green since. Ooh. Riding along as Bensi goes to the lead. As getting an EOL, so he's gone from the back to the front. Now, I wonder if Gavin possibly might work with the boss man, seeing that they're only 8 laps different in their fuel strategies. Maybe he could work with the boss man, and they could both pit together. The thing is, though, Gavin's probably going to Gavin's going to fill up quicker, and I don't know how well that they're going to be, how close they're going to come off pit road if they do something like that. Ooh. Ramirez just slamming the door back into that spot behind Gavin Sanders.
Very aggressive stuff, and I'm getting word on the radio. Matt Houston is saying he's coming onto pit road this time. End of lap 53. Houston coming in. Is he going to be all by himself? It's looking like it.
Yes, he's going to be all by himself.
Not what I would call ideal. I would have liked at a track like this to come in with a partner, at least to come in with someone to give myself a draft here, but Matt Houston probably... Oh, crash on the back straightaway! Massive wreck! Massive wreck! Try to see, is that Van de Sant? Van de Sant's in it! Alex Van de Sant, the pole sitter, is out, but that is a big one, and Jose Ramirez is in it as well, and Byron Daly looks to be a victim of it too. So some of the leaders, the hot cars of the night, are out once more.
And we were watching the pit stop of Matt Houston there, which that might have been fortuitous timing for him.
It would really depend on the circumstance, but unfortunately for Alex Van de Sant, that is game, set, and match there. And what I saw, like Ramirez scrambling for grip, trying to check up there, and Van de Sant can't check up in time, it seems. And then another victim of circumstance there, Byron Daly, unfortunately. No, not much place for him to go with the limited grip he has. I don't think he realized what was happening until it was too late. And he gets collected as well with a damaged front wing.
And he's still rolling, though.
He's still rolling. He might be able to get that fixed if the suspension's treating him well.
That's right along, Byron Daly. And that might be a limitation of, unfortunately, with Ramirez oval racing experience, because the door was open, but not by much, and to slam the door on a car on the high side that has a run on you is not smart.
Yeah, it was not exactly the best situation, I would say, for Jose Ramirez there, like trying to scramble for grip there, and maybe in a bit of blind panic there, trying to get the car back under control. And Van de Sant probably didn't notice it until it was a bit too late, sadly. But that takes some very fast cars out of the race before even the halfway mark.
But that timing, perfect for Matt Houston. He is now back to the front of the field after his pit stop. He has Gallas is going to stay out. Hugo Gallas is going to stay out, and he's going to lead some laps here. Gallas still has himself about another 10 to 15 or so, depending on how much we could save under caution here, laps before he really needs to hit pit road again. He is at 34 on his current stint, but he is your leader. Matt Houston, P2. Caleb Bensi, the other RaceVerse car, P3. The associated RaceVerse car here, P4, and that's the Kamagoya. Esports entry. The P5 is Nate Seifert along with his teammate Christopher Hill in 6th. Cristobal Valenzuela, another backfire car. 2 backfire cars in the top 10, 1st and 7th. Valenzuela 7th. Bruno Miranda, again, very quietly, top 10, doing what he needs to do to earn maximum points. Cody Claiborne 9th, and AJ Digby, who was in that incident not too long ago where he needed a new nose. Well, he's worked his way back up to 10th. Gallas looks like he decided he was going to lead a lap and then pit. He moves down the pit road, so that will move Matt Houston, who we thought was going to lose a lap. Now is our leader.
Very fortunate, I would say, for Matt Houston. That was just the perfect timing, and that's gotten him up to the point, and even better still, he's got teammates right behind him to sort of help the cause along. And Nate Seifert and Christopher Hill, they're the closest threat that's not really affiliated with them right now. So once again, the order really shakes up here at Michigan.
And I wonder how damaged Dakota the Mate is. He is still out there, and because of the caution, he is out still on the lead lap. So I'm wondering how damaged he might be, and can he make any effort to get up there and help his teammates. Ramirez looks like he has got repaired. I'm not sure what type of damage he has, but he is back underway. Hugo Gallas is the last car on the track at the moment as he's coming off of pit road. There he is. 15 cars. Looking in chat, Michael the Turk says, "Can I buy a black flag?" We hear you. Sometimes these oval races can be very frustrating, and you just got to sometimes put your car in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it really is about timing more than a lot of other factors. Is oval racing on a big super speedway. Pace car peels off. Matt Houston now going to lead the way. It'll be lap 58 this time. Green flag flies. He goes on the green flag, and Bensi follows him pretty close. Gavin Sanders drifting a little bit behind, and now here comes Seifert and Hill to probably close up the gap.
Frankie Franchica pulls out of line. He goes down low on Byron Daly, looking to try to get the position as they go down the backstretch.
Franchica, that low line has not really been favorable for a lot of drivers tonight, but Franchica has got help in front of him right now, so he's able to stay with him right now, but Byron Daly does hold on to that spot, and he's going to go around the outside of Cody Claiborne's Rainbow Fish car, trying to make it work anyway. Claiborne actually making that low side work. But meanwhile, up at the front, Caleb Bensi from back of the pack, he is leading this race.
And this is, I'm going to say that this replay is probably definitely going to be saved by Matt, because this is a whole bunch of future thumbnails right now that he's going to be making out of this with 3 race first cars at the front of the pack.
Oh yeah, if I'm the guy posting on their social media pages, I'm going to have a field day with this race.
Houston, Bensi, Sanders, Seifert, Hill, Valenzuela, Miranda, Digby, Byron Daly, Cody Claiborne. 60 of 125 as we are getting close to the halfway point here at Michigan. There you go. We'll get looking at Seifert here.
Here comes Bensi down low once more. Seifert looking to mix up the party a little bit here. He's tucking right in behind Matt Houston, as we're getting ourselves into a little bit of a single file pack right now as we sort each other out. Lap 61. Everybody looking to maybe get themselves back up into a place where they can use those fresh tires and once again have a pack going here. But I'm starting to think that a few of these guys may catch them maybe a bit wiser, and knowing that given the amount of incidents we've had so far in this race, it may not be worth it to go very aggressive in the mid pack of the race yet.
Yeah, save it for the end if you can.
Of course, that mainly works well if you want to. It mainly works if you have the track position to sort of ride in comfort. As now Seifert down to the low side, he takes over the lead going through 1 and 2.
Seifert, a season 2 series champion. Vanilla Nate.
Bensi once again getting that run on the low side. If you're in that front pack right now, the low side is definitely what you want if you're out in front and you don't have any air to worry about. But if you do, that high line seems to be a bit more preferable. Bensi still leading, of course. Siefker once again. This is the sort of thing we're seeing. They have no dirty air in front of them to contend with. At least Siefker does now. And once again, Siefker can only pick one line to go on, and the other one is the one that Bensi has to go on. And Bensi now down to the low side. He's able to get there just in time to prevent Siefker from slamming the door on him.
We have Team Watson Racing versus Team RaceVerse here at the front, starting to work their way into it. The Backfire Motorsports and Hukos Hollinger Racing Esports team right there. Byron Daly, the independent, he's working his way down low and trying to get the underside of Bruno Miranda to get this position. Top 8 all covered by a blanket.
Siefker actually holding on to the position in 3 and 4 this time over Caleb Bensi. Will he now lead a lap here as Christopher Hill starts to make his presence known in this lead fight as well? It's not just going to be the two of them anymore. Siefker leads the lap. Here comes Hill down to the low side. Can he make it 2 for 1? And yes, he can, at least in 1 and 2 anyway. Move that 101, the safest driver contender, up to the top spot.
He has not had much luck on the ovals, but he is showing that every single oval race he is at, he learns a little bit more every single race. And he has now got his car up 3 spots. He started up front all day. He's been kind of hanging out there, playing it safe. He's now up to the lead spot, now getting passed down low by his teammate. They swap the top position, going in the 1, now 2. Down the backstretch.
And this is the sort of team play you want to see, where you're not only not holding each other up here, you're also playing defense against the cars behind you, at least for the race leader. But didn't quite work out that time, though. Bensi right now is all up on the gearbox of Christopher Hill coming off of turn 4. Siefker will lead the lap, but Hill now closing up really quickly on the number 2. Will he look down to the low side? No, actually. We're going single file now through 1 and 2, and Bensi sticks his nose out down to the low side to give himself some clean air over that front wing.
Bensi did not have a great week last week. He got wrecked on the first lap at Detroit in FIS, and then got hit with contact that pretty much ruined his day on the first lap at Lionheart. Looking to recover after a subpar week last week here on the high banks at Michigan and the Irish Hills. And here comes Byron Daly.
Look at Byron Daly go. A beautiful run. I think he gained like 3 spots out of that. He moves up to P2.
Here comes Cristobal Valenzuela.
And Valenzuela, another one of those guys like Bensi, he had an EOL penalty at the start of this race. He was making up for lost track position here. He had good qualifying pace here. Valenzuela has been looking very strong on this oval here tonight. So he can be a contender right now, currently sitting solidly in 7th. This race can go any multitude of ways, and it could be to a guy that started in the back.
Matt Houston back to 9th, just kind of riding this group out at the moment. Alex Carver, who had contact with another car during an incident, looks like is under full power. He is currently joining this battle. He has worked his way up to 8th. Bruno Miranda hanging out in the 10th spot here, just keeping an eye on everybody in front of him. Right behind him is Franchica. There is Dakota DeMade, still staying in the draft. Not sure if he's how injured that car is. I would imagine there is some damage on that car somewhere. Hugo Gallo's right there in 13th. Cody Claiborne, not sure what happened to Cody, but he's dropped back to 14th. Oh, he's missing a front wing, and he might not know that. He might not know that.
Yeah, it's exceptionally hard to see if you have a damaged front wing or not. I'm not sure Cody Claiborne can see that. I think the only way would be in VR.
Jose Ramirez on pit road. I'm not sure. Maybe Ramirez and Claiborne had some contact. Maybe if you could check on that real quick. But yeah, one of the benefits of being in VR here, driving these cars here on iRacing, is that you can kind of sit up in your seat and look forward through the aero screen and see your front wings and see the status of them. You cannot do that in real racing. That's where a spotter would have to tell you. But one of the nice things here is you can actually, if you're in VR, you can sit up and lean up and see. And if you don't have it, you're not in VR, you need a spotter to tell you that. But right now, it's Sanders, Daly, Seifert, and Bensi at the line.
And looking back on what happened to Cody Claiborne, by the way, he got into the back of AJ Digby when everybody was checking up from the aero push and just knocked his front wing off running into the back of the 81 machine. So he's going to have to live with that for a little while, I would think, before his final stop of the night. If he can stay on the lead lap, that would be fantastic.
Yep, right now we're rooting for him to get that winless streak taken care of, but it might go another week. We shall see. But AJ Digby, speaking of AJ Digby, in a battle back here with Christopher Hill.
Digby trying to look to that low side once more. The top side definitely seems to be preferred as the race goes on right now. Track holding pretty steady for track tempo around 119 degrees Fahrenheit here. Look at Siefker. Caleb Bensi, I should say. Bensi going down to the low side of Byron Daly, and Sanders trying to pull Bensi along past him, and he does. You can see what Sanders was doing there. He was going down to a middle groove there to give his slipstream to Caleb Bensi and give it to I guess you could say a friendly driver, as it were, someone that you're going to be working with against another team, or in Byron Daly's case, an independent.
It's actually my hope to see that these possibly are two teammates working together next year in this Lionheart IndyCar, and if that's the case, that is going to be a powerhouse team. But that's for another discussion at another time, as right now these two are slugging it out for the lead here at Michigan, going to the 175 of 125.
Sanders still holding on to the top spot. Bensi being pulled along for the ride. But this battle back here, this is definitely getting a bit feisty. Seeing Christopher Hill taking a peek to the low side. That's Alex Carver. Carver up to a great start. He was scored 5th last time by, and he's still holding on to that top 5 spot.
19 spots gained for Carver, including possible contact. So he has worked his way through a little bit of heartburn to bring his kind of looks like a player's Forsyth car without the player sponsorship on it, all the way up the P5 right on Byron Daly, and he is very patiently just kind of stalking this group out right now, maybe saving some precious drops of fuel and see who can go longest on this stint. But right now things are really, really different with the pole sitter Alex Van de Sant now out, relegated to 17th with that incident on the backstretch. 15 cars remaining on the track. But really, this group of 12, well, Hugo Galez is kind of part of it right there. And then Jose Ramirez is a 15th car running, but he is a little bit down on power at the moment. He is also 4 laps down. Cody Claiborne, there's Cody, still running the one-wing angel going on at the moment. He is hoping for a caution relatively soon so he could get in and make a pit stop and get that replaced without having to make a green flag pit stop. But he is the last car in the lead lap, 14 cars in the lead lap, 13 in that lead pack, bracketed between Caleb Bensi and Hugo Galez.
Always very close racing, and that's one of the reasons why we love watching races at Michigan, and you can have a lot of fun racing it as well. Gavin Sanders still holding strong to that top spot. Bensi, they gave themselves a bit of a gap right now. Siefker is having to deal with his teammate as well as Byron Daly. Daly's probably more the threat, and Alex Carver as well, as I'm looking at AJ Digby taking a peek to the low side on Hill and Daly.
Digby down low. He's got to pick up a couple positions now. Can he hold on? He's not going to be in the draft, so he might get a bit of a freight train put on him here at the moment. He'd be wise to get back in line if he can. Nope, he's going to stay low going in the 3. Again, going to the low side. Seems like everyone's gone to the high side. Is that a limitation of where the tires are at this point? Most everyone's about 23 laps into the current stint.
That would strike me as saying that the tires are starting to become more worn in. They're working that higher line to put less wear on the tire and give them better momentum on exit. And that's saying that as the tires wear in, that low line becomes less and less viable. And AJ Digby is finding that out firsthand, even though he's holding fairly firm right now, still fighting Alex Carver. But now he's got Valenzuela and Bruno Morano to contend with, and they seem to be content working that high line as well and working the draft train while saving their tires.
Once again, if you're just joining us, you're watching RaceVerse coverage of Round 8 of the Formula Indy Series, coming to you from Michigan International Raceway, where Caleb Bency currently leads with 81 of 125 in terms of scheduled distance. Hey, show your support for RaceVerse. Become a member of our Patreon page today, patreon.com/RaceVerse. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. 81 of 25, Gavin Sanders is now your leader, as we are getting into looking at the window possibly opening to get to the finish if anyone wants to think about maybe doing an early pit stop.
We are getting closer and closer to that window, like you said, so I would imagine, especially in someone like Cody Claiborne's position, as soon as that pit stop window opens, he's probably going to want to come in, maybe factoring that there won't be very many other opportunities left and knowing that everybody else has to pit too. But everyone else has got to think, when am I going to be going in? When would work the best for me? And who will I come in with? There's a lot of X factors that'll go into this final pit stop, no doubt.
Now, that's interesting. If we do go to green flag pit stops, that will really string this field out. Right now, we got some pretty exciting racing going on. If we get a caution, it'll keep everyone grouped together. But if we get a green flag pit stop, the level and quality of racing that we're going to see is probably going to decrease because it's going to spread the field out.
It could, but at the same time, if the field is close enough, they can, again, create that sort of monkey bar effect, and they can drag themselves back up to the guys in front of them and create their own little packs. That's something I've seen before in Indy cars. Maybe it's the leaders, maybe it's the mid-pack. We'll see. But there's a lot of opportunities still. It could be spread out. It could well be a grandstand finish all the same.
Mark Murphy, the Indy Fix Division 1 Season 3 champion, checking in, says this looks like a first-rate mess. He says I see Dakota hanging out and playing it smart. Well, Dakota actually had he and his car had a bad relationship with the wall, and there might be some damage there. So we're going to see how much he's actually playing possum versus how much damage is on the car. But Dakota, we'll take a peek at him right now. He's in the 12th spot. Guys kind of riding along there in the draft of Frankie Franchica in 11th. The Boss Man's another car in front of him in 10th right there. All within the draft range. So he's just taking it easy at the moment. We'll see if he maybe makes a run at this later. Maybe he is playing a little controlled chaos. We'll see. But Matt Houston is in 10th spot. Let's go up through the field a little bit. There is Cristobal Valenzuela. He is in 9th.
Was that Alex Carver?
Alex
Carver in the wall of a 2.
He's recovered.
He's recovered. He just drifted up into the wall off a 2. I think the arrow push may have gotten the better of him there, but he keeps it going.
He's pretty loose. He's pretty loose right now. You could see, and he might want to hit pit. Nope, he's not going to hit pit road. So he's going to fall all the way to the back. All that work he did for, well, unfortunately for nothing. But we still got time. Maybe we can get a caution. Maybe he can get a pit stop and he can get back in there. But look, you said he hit the wall?
Yeah, he hit the wall pretty sizably coming off a 2. It looked to me like he just drifted up from the arrow wash there, and it just wasn't able to correct it in time.
He's struggling at the moment. He's struggling at the moment. You can see the car being very loose on him.
Heartbreak for Alex Carver. But if he can keep it going, I think his thought process may be, if I keep it going for as long as I can gain something out of this. And honestly, given the state of affairs, I don't think that's a bad assessment to make.
Yeah, Mark Murphy saying strategy, lap 89 for the stops, 36 to the tank, going to be fun. Who can be the most aggressive on the brakes in pit lane? And those guys are already at the front. All those top 5, certainly I could see going right to that first cone and stopping, bringing it down to the last minute to the pit road speed. But
right on cue, Matt Houston's on pit road.
Yeah, and this will be his final stop. So remember, he stopped a little bit early last time. Remember, he had the benefit of the caution. So he hits pit road. Oh, he scoots through a little bit. He has to back up. Cody Claiborne on pit road. He gets the front wing fixed. Is Matt going to be able to get down and catch up to Cody? Not yet. See Carver on pit road in the background there. He might have some required repairs that are being taken care of. So Matt goes down a lap, so he needs to hope this thing stays green for the remainder of the race. 90 of 125. Gavin Sanders, Caleb Benson, Nate Siefker, your leaders. So Matt might have pitted a little bit early, but I think going through, and remember Matt, Christopher Hill going high, Christopher Hill on the wall.
Oh, Christopher Hill. Did he get the wall?
Yes, he did get the wall. He did get the wall, and that is going to slow him down a little bit. But that is how Byron Daly get around. AJ Digby taking a look. How does this car handle coming off the corner? Looks a little sketch, but he's keeping it under control. Down the backstretch into the draft. AJ Digby. Digby now up to P5.
Yeah, at the very least it looks drivable, but I don't think it's driving the way he likes it. That was close.
Not handling very well, and Digby dodges a major bullet. Look at Christopher Hill get out of the power to keep the car off the wall. Lenny Bruno Miranda around him, and now he's starting to trail. It might be Christopher Hill's cue now to pit.
That might well be. We're in the fuel window to do so. Put on fresh rubber, maybe fix whatever damage you possibly can. Give it a few seconds and get yourself back out there. I wouldn't want a lot of damage to be fixed, and a lot of damage fixed though, because it takes a long time to fix them in these cars, and it will go a lap down if it's too much. So I think that it's just going to be taking fresh rubber as soon as he sees fit. He's not coming in yet though. Maybe got some other plan in mind, but Hill's still holding on to P7 right now.
So Matt Houston, remember, he pitted 4 laps difference between himself and the rest of the field when that last caution came out. So these guys are probably looking to make that turn down pit road any time now. Matt might have stopped a little bit early though, so he might have did a quick short fill, but I think that scooting through his box might have cost him some time. 3-way battle for the lead.
And Sanders and both Sanders and Bensi have just signaled that they're coming onto pit road this time. So Nate Siefker will be handed the lead unless he decides to come in too. Both of them going down to the low side. They both come onto pit road, bringing it down to, I believe it's 55 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit. It feels absolutely glacial when you were doing 220 just earlier. And Siefker signaling he's coming in on this lap. Christopher Hill also saying he's going to come in. Hopefully that car feels better after some fresh rubber gets put on it.
Yeah, teammates there. So here's Gavin slides to a stop in his box. He hits his marks.
Sanders down and away. Bensi, kind of a slow stop there. He's actually lost
Sanders
that spot
away.
to Sanders. So
Careful on that coming off. Careful on that pit road apron there.
Gotta be very careful on the exit. I'm seeing Siefker, Byron Daly, Christopher Hill all on pit road now. Bruno Miranda also signaling he's going to come in too. Valenzuela as well. This is basically the time where everybody's going to be coming in to make their stops. This is
Bruno
Miranda. Oh, was that Dakota DeMay? Massively overshot his box there.
Yeah, he's just having a bit of a rough afternoon now. Bruno Miranda. AJ Digby now has the lead. And he is going to... he now has a lap lead over just about everybody, I think.
Digby signaling he's coming into pit this time. At 81, down on the low line. That's Gavin Sanders battling it out with Nate Siefker. That I guess you could argue is for the effective race lead there. Bensi kind of had a slow stop, had a very slow stop actually. Does he have the draft to get up there? I think it's possible actually. He's within a second and a half of those two.
So Digby hands over the lead, hitting his stall right on his marks.
And now Bruno Miranda gets around Bensi. He's up to this battle for the lead with Siefker and Sanders right now. So bringing another X Factor, Bruno Miranda, up to the front towards the end of this race.
We knew he would, and if these three start racing, that's going to open the door for Caleb now to get involved.
That's Digby down the low side there. Coming off of his pit stop, he'll be joining
Byron Daly. Yeah, he's going to be fail back, but he might be within reach of Byron Daly, so he might still be able to get the draft. But Daly is, well, he's not really out of the reach of Bensi. So let's see what happens in the closing laps. 98 to 125, closing stages here at the Endeavor, Michigan 250. And Caleb's there. He's there.
Yeah, Bensi, as I expected of him, he crawled himself back up there, using that draft brilliantly. He's gotten himself back up to the pack, and now kind of Byron Daly's kind of sitting back there in no man's land in P5 right now. Someone give him a little dance partner to play with, but Digby, Houston, and Christopher Hill back there in 6th, 7th, and 8th. They're having their own little battle right now towards the back of the top 10.
Look at Hill. Hill's car is feeling better. Oh, almost in the back of the boss man. Had a big run, so Hill's car looks like it is feeling better. These guys really need to cooperate. No, they cannot be racing right now.
Yeah, like you cannot be this aggressive when that position is still up there for grabs. I would not be wanting to fight them this hard.
25
allowing
to go.
Byron Daly to run away, and I think he might even be catching back up to the leaders. He's within draft range of Bensi.
Yeah,
so
that
he
time
is going to make it a
by
5-car battle.
That time by Byron Daly 3/10 faster.
Beautiful stuff here. Byron Daly giving himself some guys to play with, and he is going to be fighting for the lead. It's going to be a 5-car battle going into the last 20 laps of this race. It's still Gavin Sanders, Bruno Miranda up on that top side now. Look at him go 3 wide now going into turn 1. Siefker through the middle. Sanders led that lap there, and Siefker now up to P2. He's going to be working that high line. Sanders down low. Can Siefker get the run on exit? And here comes Miranda making it 3 wide again into turn 3.
I don't know, just me. I know we're getting late into the race, but we still have 20 laps to go. Is 3 wide that important to do right now to get the lead when you're just in the lead draft and you can make the move almost anytime you want?
I would understand it to a degree, but there comes a point where it's just a bit too much as Siefker almost touches Bruno Miranda there. He's going to work that high side there. Miranda seems to be struggling for grip down the low line. Bensi's going to pass him up there for P3.
All right,
and Byron Daly also.
I don't want to start getting anybody excited, but this next group, Christopher Hill, Houston, and Digby, they were a 10th faster the last 2 laps.
Could it be possible it's going to be even more than a 5-car battle coming to the checkered flag in this race? Miranda looking low on Byron Daly. That low line hasn't quite been working to his favor as of yet. He backs out, though. Siefker leading the way into 3. Gavin Sanders, he's going to be looking up high. See if he can get the run off the corner. But if they keep battling like this, I'm seeing Christopher Hill has gotten himself clean air, and he is going to be leading the train of the guys from 6th on back that are going to be closing up. And
that time by Christopher Hill.
Christopher
Hill compared to Bruno Miranda 4/10 quicker.
Wow, that's really showing how much pace he's got, how much they're slowing each other up right now. And from the looks of it right now, I think he is close enough to be within firm draft range.
1.1.
Miranda and Daly.
1 second. He is there.
That is definitely close enough. It's about 1.5 we normally see is when the draft starts to have its effect. Daly up on that high line with Bruno Miranda down low. That battle still not letting up. Siefker yields that top spot to Gavin Sanders down the back straightaway. It seems to be a bit of an inverse of what we saw earlier with Sanders leading a lot of the laps. This time it's Siefker that's going to be leading at the stripe fairly regularly, it looks like. But I imagine that's going to be, that could change quite heavily going into the final 10 laps especially. And look at Bruno Miranda now. Look at Miranda. Siefker actually gave him draft help there. I think he was trying to throw Sanders off there and give him something else to worry about.
Hill 1.2 to Daly. That time by Hill 0.3 faster.
Hill's definitely closing up the gap on these guys. It'll definitely be within these last few laps. We're about to start lap 108. Miranda in P2. He's looking to the low side into 1. And he will take that top spot for the time being. But the way these guys are kind of slowing each other up right now, look at this.
Christopher
Hill. Look at Matt Houston. This battle has been joined.
Tonight's race, this exciting finish from Michigan, is brought to you by CJazz Endeavors. From commercials of video games to books to blurbs, if you have any voice work of any sort that needs to be done, Christian Jasper is your guy. Demos are ready upon your request and is eager to work on your project today. Contact Christian at Twitter or on Twitter at CJazz Endeavors. That's CJAZ Endeavors on Twitter. And the battle has been joined.
Miranda took the lead on that last lap. Was that Matt Houston almost up in the wall there?
Yeah, he did get the wall. That might be day done for him. And he was racy all day today.
One of the fast cars seems to be out of contention. The boss man, Matt Houston, clips the wall off of turn 2. He's trying to gather it up. I think he's still trying to see if he's still within draft range of the guys around him. Yeah, he is, but that is definitely going to hurt, especially how competitive he was. But speaking of competitive, Christopher Hill has definitely made himself competitive now. It's turned into a 6-car battle for the race lead, and it's going to be 10 to go with the stripe this time.
Yeah, I don't think Digby has the pace to get him. Digby a 10th slower that time, and that group's starting to fall back. So we only had one car that managed to sneak into this battle, and that's Christopher Hill. And remember, Christopher Hill was struggling not too long ago with an ill-handling car. Got into the pits, got a new set of tires, topped off the fuel, and this is a fixed setup race, so just made some bar adjustments, and he is back to racing, and he is around Byron Daly, and now he's looking at Caleb Bency.
Excuse me, I meant 15 laps to go. It's 15 laps to go. It's lap 125 we're going to go to.
It's excusable.
But Christopher Hill, look at this, side by side now with Caleb Bency. Look at that. Hill really competitive. That car brushed the wall a little bit earlier, but it doesn't seem to be hurting him all that much. He seems to have found something that's working right now. Hill looking for whatever line he can. He's going to be looking up high to try and get around Bency, but it's going to be but it is going to be Siefker looking to the low side on Bruno Miranda into 3. Siefker into that top spot once more, and Gavin Sanders looking for whatever run he can to try and spoil their party.
I think Gavin and Caleb are just chilling on the top line and keeping their tires in check at the moment. Watch them both. That could be true. Watch them both. Just watch them.
Yeah, they're running a line that doesn't seem to put much pressure on their tires, and they're not really making aggressive moves right now.
Oh, AJ Digby's coming into the picture now.
Digby did indeed catch back up. Very well done. Just when some were probably writing him off there, he's caught right up to the draft of Byron Daly, and he can pull Cristobal Valenzuela up into this battle too.
Now we're getting to the point where Sanders and Bency cannot let these two get any as we're talking so much, can't get all the voices, can't get all the words out. But we're getting to the point where Bency and Sanders cannot let this group get any further ahead of them.
Yeah, they have to put a little bit more rubber onto the road there to catch and stay with these guys and make the fight and take the fight to them on the lap that actually matters, which is the last lap. Siefker now looking to the low side. Miranda leading that lap. So this battle seems to go different directions now. I think this is going to set the tone. We may not know who is going to be in the best position coming into the final laps.
115 to 125. Siefker, Miranda, Bency, Sanders, Hill, your top 5. Daly, Digby, Valenzuela. You're kind of on the outside looking in here on this lead battle in the top 8. Matt Houston looks like he has fallen back to 9th, and Frankie Francica is in the 10th spot. So right now we got 13 cars still making laps here on from the track. We have all of them, with the exception of Cody Claiborne, all on the lead lap.
And a lot of them, the top 8, within 1.5 seconds of each other. 8 cars, mind you. That is showing how close racing at Michigan can be. And we were worried for a minute that we weren't going to see something like this after green flag pit stops, but yeah, but Michigan has its way of being equilibrium, I guess you could say. And it gets everybody close to the end, even after green flag stops. Miranda leading laps right now at the end of this race. Siefker trying to look on the high side now. He'll try and go down low down the back straightaway. This lead battle looking like Miranda and Siefker for the moment, but don't count out Bensi, Sanders, or Daly. But meanwhile, behind them, AJ Digby around the outside of Christopher Hill. That's in the battle for 6th. And they're losing time to the leaders right now. I think neither one of them wants to be in this situation. They don't want to fight each other too much, but at the same time, they want to fight for that position. They want to be the guy leading it.
Now, if I'm correct, Bruno has not won an FIS race. He has been close, but he has not won an FIS race. So, I mean, Michigan has a history from Ronnie Hickman to Pancho Carter to John Paul Jr. to a number of other IndyCar drivers in history for having their first IndyCar wins at Michigan, and we might be seeing that same mold possibly be carved out today.
Possibly so. We got a whole bunch of opportunity for the likes of Bruno Miranda to score their first win, but another driver who no stranger to the front of the field, Nate Siefker. He is looking to be in a strong position too, but don't count out Bensi or Sanders. With 6 laps to go this time, look how close they've gotten now. It's go time for everyone involved. Bensi way down on the low line. He's going for the lead. And does he go for first? In John Cleland style, Miranda holding on to that top spot. Bensi looking everywhere, high, low, wherever you can go. Siefker cutting him off right now for the moment here, but coming to 5 laps to go. It's go time for all these drivers. We've reached the point of no return.
Miranda, no wins. Siefker, 2 wins. Gavin Sanders, 6 wins. Caleb Bensi has 2 series wins. Byron Daly, no wins. And we got this car on the high side. Here comes Digby. He has no wins. So we have 3 cars that are looking to get their first win, 2 cars looking to get their 3rd win, and 1 car looking to extend his series wins lead in the FIS historically, and that is Gavin Sanders. So here we come, 5 laps to go, coming to 4.
Miranda still holding firm on that low side. Siefker.
Yeah, I would not leave that. I would not leave that low side. Although Byron Daly's thinking about going down there. You saw him like, I'm gonna maybe get a shot, and he's like, nah, I'm not gonna be able to do it. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Oh, here we go, and he goes to the white line.
Look at Siefker. Look at that move he's trying to make, but Miranda slams the door shut on the low side. And Bensi's looking at this thinking, how can this benefit me? I know, I'll use this to get by them while they're holding each other up, he's thinking. Siefker looking everywhere, 3 wide now, going into 1 with 3 laps to go, no less.
So close between Miranda.
Drifting way up there. That was close.
Miranda had the roll out of it. They had the roll out of it, and now let's give the door open to Caleb Bensi. 3 laps to go, coming to 2.
Siefker with the lead now. Miranda once again trying to stick it down low. Can Bensi get the run he needs? 2 laps to go now. It's going to be Siefker at the line.
Bensi doesn't have any place to go. He got bottled up there. Here comes Byron Daly. Here comes Digby. We got 6 cars in the battle here. 2 laps to go. 4 miles.
Gavin Sanders also in this frame as well. Siefker up on that high line. He's got momentum. AJ Digby also in the pack too, but not quite up to that lead pack yet. It's going to be Miranda, and look at Bensi. Bensi's actually gotten around Siefker, coming to the white flag this time. 1 to go, 3 wide now at the stripe. It's going to be Siefker leading 3/1000ths of a second at the line. Through 1 and 2 for the last time. Miranda down low.
Look at
Benzie
Caleb.
trying to put the squeeze.
Yeah, he's trying to put the squeeze on him, put in the pinch.
Down we go. 3 wide once more.
Contact.
Seifker going up the middle. Look at this. Miranda trying to hold it on the low line. Seifker trying to get that momentum working. Benzie gets shoved out of it. Can Benzie push Seifker to the line? Can he get momentum of his own? Miranda, down the apron.
You can't do that.
Apron. You can't do that. Miranda scored as the winner, but that could probably be a penalty. You cannot do that. That is strictly off limits. Miranda scored as the winner. Nate Seifker was second there. Sanders and Benzie, the top 4, with Byron Daly 5th. But that is going to be looked at, no doubt. Bruno Miranda is scored as the winner, but I'm not sure how long that is going to last.
Trying to see that. I was in a conversation with Matt Houston earlier today, and he did say that the apron was off, and I want to try to double check that.
Yeah, that's what we're understood, is that the apron is strictly off limits during the race. They could use it in qualifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, and question from the guys from the Lionheart official channel there, hello Lionheart Racing Series, was he forced onto that position? We'll see.
Let's go back. We'll go back and look at that. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Just an FYI, this is from Matt to me. We do not do apron and FIS regardless of what lap it is, only in qualifying. So let's.
He was not forced. Looking at it again, Miranda was not forced on the apron. Seifker wasn't even alongside him. So that looks egregious if indeed that is the rule being enforced. That looks pretty egregious for Bruno Miranda. Very sad to say, because he had a fantastic run going. I think that's going to be looked at. That may well be first win gone. Kind of a Regan Smith at Talladega situation, but a bit less understandable.
Here's a look and see if he had someone on his outside.
I don't think
anyone else on his outside
when he actually went down on the apron. No, Seifker was definitely giving him room on that middle groove.
But once he left the track, Seifert doesn't have to give any room. See, that's the thing. So he leaves the track now. Door shut. Boom. There it is. Door shut.
Yeah, Doug South saying the race control made it quite clear apron is a no-go. It's hard to break that old habit. I will agree with you, Doug, that the old habit dies hard of going down on the apron, but it's going to have to be put in the fridge for the time being. Unfortunately, that may have just cost Bruno Miranda a win.
Race control has let me know we have a winner, a ruling for a winner. Nate Seifker is your winner. No apron means no apron. So unfortunately, what you just saw there was very unfortunate. I'm not sure where that's going to put Bruno in terms of where he is in the final standings. So keep in mind, the standings that you're going to see on your screen here momentarily will be all unofficial. Yeah, you see Nate rolling his car here in the replay to victory lane. So I think he knew where he finished in this thing, as he thinks he was going to go to victory lane, and I think he correctly guessed that one. So what you're going to see here is going to be unofficial final results. And we'll bring those up, and then we'll get these people, the drivers, in here to talk really about this finish, because this is going to be something that we're going to talk about for a long time. But let's take a look at these final standings here from a Michigan race that started ugly, but ending up finishing rather good, but a little bit of an asterisk there at the end because of the apron use.
Yeah, it was a race of attrition and a race of controversy and a race of excitement. All things you expect to see on the big super speedways. Lots of speed, lots of drama. Michigan International delivered that for certain. For Bruno Miranda, sadly, it was not in the best way that it could have been. But for Nate Seifker, that is going to be a race win for him. And what a race to actually get, even if it was by a rules violation on the guy who would have won.
So let's take a look. This year, unofficial. We do have Bruno Miranda showed as classified as first, but according to race control, has been either DQ'd or a lap penalty. Some type of penalty is going to take the win away from him. So Nate Seifert is your winner. Gavin Sanders is going to move up to P2. Caleb Benson will get on the bottom step of the podium here. Byron Daly, Digby rounding out your top 5. Let's just do the rest of the field here real quick, and we'll get into the interview. Christopher Valenzuela, great run for him. Christopher Hill, man, for having a just an ugly car that was wanting to kill people, he recovered rather good, finishing, which would be 7th now. Matt Houston, he was racy all day until hitting the wall late, gets himself a top 10. Frankie Franchica also up in the top 10. Hugo Gallas a top 10. Dakota DeMay hangs on with probably a very ugly handling car after making a kiss with the wall midway through. He gets up into the 11th. Cody Claiborne in the fish car. Alex Carver was up there with the leaders for a good portion of the day. Good showing for him. And Jose Ramirez in 14th. Moving on, Alex Van de Sant, Ledesma, DeTurk, Aldrich, Padahar, Nick Johnston, Kresge, Coogan, White, Short, Miglin, Spath, and our points leader, Welker, who decided not to take a start because of a family incident or issue that required priority. We will take our hat off to him for doing that. We will see him here in about 2 weeks at our next race. He is probably still going to be our points leader, but the points window will be a little bit shorter. All right, let's get into the interview room here real quickly. I don't know if we're going to bring in anyone from Race Control. We can bring in someone from Race Control if someone really wants to hear from Race Control. We can, but let's go ahead and bring in Caleb, who is not here. So let's go ahead and bring in Gavin, who finished P2. Hey, Gavin, we got you in here. Man, what a finish. And a little something there at the end kind of gave you a little bit of a bonus.
Yeah, I think we had a really good night. Just kind of swapping back and forth for the lead. I think that the setup was kind of made for this style of racing, so it was pretty much exciting the whole way through when we weren't under yellow. When we were racing until when Alex was around, it was smooth sailing and nice and clear, and when Nate and Bruno and Caleb and I got to fighting, it was pretty entertaining. So can't complain. Obviously, this is sort of a random on this calendar, but I'm just glad to be here. Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's translate here. When you say it was entertaining, is when those other drivers got up there to join you, did they ratchet up the aggressiveness a little bit more than you're saying that was necessary?
No, I think that everything was, everybody's up running their own schedule. So, I mean, if go time is 30 to go compared to kind of go time for me being 5 to go.
Right.
Then we just have differing opinions, and I'll get out of your way. Right.
Right.
So that was kind of my MO through most of that, and just try and stay up high and not blow the tires off.
Yeah.
And I mean, you never know if they're going to wreck again. So, better safe than sorry.
I don't know if it's from just being your teammate for so long, but there was some of the exact same things I was talking about in the broadcast. I'm like, I noticed I said Gavin was staying high. Is he saving those tires? And one of the things I said with about 20 to go, 25 to go, when I started seeing him go 3 wide, I'm like, is it really wise to go 3 wide when you still have 20, 25 to go? And actually, Steven said pretty much the same thing you said. Everyone kind of has a different go time, and it's kind of hard to flip that switch when you get a run to say, yeah, I'm going to withhold this time, even though I got a massive run. But your race, you came in there with your teammate under green for that last pit stop, and you got around him. What did you do differently on that pit stop to get around Caleb there by so concisively?
Well, I'm pretty sure he put a full tank in, and I fueled to what would be the theoretical end.
Okay.
From less than a fuel stint away. So I think I was 10 or 11 liters less fill than he was.
Okay.
And I don't know. I think everybody was kind of a little bit. I don't know if Caleb necessarily had any issues at the box, but I was hearing that everybody was a little bit antsy with the green flag stop, and some people were missing boxes and lines and all that fun stuff. So it could have been just a difference in, obviously, there's a solid few tenths of a second in just how you stop in the box. So
yep.
It could have been down to that, and that's what's so key about green flag pit stops, especially here when it's basically almost a lap. You just have to there's two different ways, and if you're content with going a lap down, then that's fine, but at the last stop of the race, you gotta go for it, right? So I think it was just a little bit of a full send into pit lane, and just trying to be as efficient as possible.
Steven?
Yeah, and one thing that struck me right away about this race was the amount of attrition we had early on. You seemed to be able to dodge it, but was that something that you were expecting to have happen, or was that just a complete shocker?
It was going to be one way or the other way. It was kind of falling on each side of the sword. And I think we fell pretty hard on the one side at the start of the race, at least. Just being that with the setup the way it was, and a little bit more packy, it was either going to be wildly aggressive, and everybody was going to be taking every chance they got from lap one, or it was going to string out, and everybody might be a little bit more calm, and then we go green, So unfortunately it went the other way, and it was just, once we had that first yellow, I was just kind of on I'm just gonna pit and get out of the way, and hopefully nothing piles up on my wing. So yeah, I think that worked out pretty decently, and we made it to the end, and yeah, can't complain.
Shout outs.
Big shout outs to Team RaceVerse, Sunset Arctic Graphics, RaceVerse Broadcasting. You guys are the best, and Formula Indy Series for putting on an epic race every time out.
Well, there you have it. And even though on the final results it says third, he comes home second due to that race to the finish penalty that we're going to talk about here in just a second with our provisional winner, Nate Siefker. But congratulations, and we're going to see you 2 weeks at Road Atlanta, hopefully.
Yes, you will.
Yes, yes. Now, Road Atlanta. Have you got a chance to drive the real car there yet?
I have not, no, but I've been there, and it meets all the hype.
Okay, all right. All right. Well, can't wait to hear when you finally get to race the real car there. When you do that last turn downhill, I'm sure that's a bit of a roller coaster ride.
I'm excited, but yeah, take care, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, bring it on, Nate. Hey, Nate, congratulations. Although coming to the line, I guess you didn't expect it, but your thoughts. I mean, you saw Bruno go to the apron. As soon as he went to the apron, you shut the door on him. You don't have to let him back up there. You shut the door on him. You did not force him down there. And your thoughts about when he took the checkered on the apron and then picking up the win there by race control.
I was yelling. He can't go down there.
We were all doing that. We were all doing that. Yeah.
I was like, I was. He had the race won.
Yeah.
That's what surprised me about it. Like I was like, oh, this is second place. I'm gonna, just be content with that. And then he went down there, and I was like, it was like he just had it in his hands, and he was like, I don't want it. I'll give it to you. That's what it felt like. So yeah, it was. I'll take it. It's a win. It still counts.
Yeah.
It kind of makes up for the Daredevil series on Wednesday. I was leading, and some guy passed below me on the apron and won that race. So it kind of good karma, I guess. I lost the race because the guy ran the apron, and I won a race because the guy won the apron. So equilibrium works out.
Well, that's your third win here in the FIS. You would think you would have a lot more than that, being that you're a former champion and everything, but it just kind of shows you how hard it really is here to win here whether it's on a road course or an oval for once a season.
I mean, we won one race the championship winning season. We won one race last season, which, we were lucky to win that one. And, with Mitch, being so dominant, this was the race I think everyone had circled. You got to win this race.
Mm-hmm.
So we kept the 100% conversion rate for wins in a season. So we'll take that at least. But I mean, I'll take it for sure. It's nice to win once. People say you didn't really win because you didn't cross the line first, but I was the first person to cross the line that followed the rules correctly, I guess. So that's that. We'll take it. We'll I don't even know where we're at next time, but we'll go on and move on.
Steven?
Well, and what a race to win, even if it was kind of handed to you from the guy who would have won it. But one question I would want to ask you, especially, I mean, you may be a bit biased on this one given the result of tonight's race, but there's been some talk in the FIS community about maybe not running an oval at one point in the season from going forward, just be on road courses. But of course, the racing here tonight was pretty epic, even if it was a bit of attrition filled, as we were discussing earlier. But what's your take on that whole idea? Would you want to see an oval come back every season?
I see both points. I do. I see, the standpoint where this is any road course league, you should run more road courses. But it is nice, I think at the beginning of the race, there's people at the front who aren't in the top 5, in the top 10 some races, So it's nice for those guys to get an opportunity to run at the front. And so I think in that aspect, it is good to have one. You just look at my iRating. I'm a 4K guy on the oval side, and I'm sub 2K on the road side. So when look at it from my standpoint, I'm very okay with being on ovals. So for that standpoint, I see both sides. I like road courses. I think they're the best to drive. But I do enjoy the oval side of things. So really, I'm impartial. I think it is good to keep one on the rotation. I go back and forth on it really all the time.
Yeah.
Do we do it? Do we not? I think I'm for it. I like the rotation we've done. So I am okay with keeping the oval.
Yeah, and leveling with you as well. I probably fall in the same boat as well. It'd be great to have this little thing to spice up the season, as it were, and not have of course the road courses are not all samey by any stretch of the imagination, but having that one race where it just races completely different, it's just that little thing that becomes the spice in the season.
Yeah, for sure. I think that I think people that aren't at the front of the standings, they kind of circle this race and they say this is my chance. It seems like everybody circled this race this season because of Mitch's domination. So, yeah, it's nice that you get other people at the front. So we'll go from there. I don't even know where we're at next time.
Road Atlanta. Next
Road Atlanta,
race.
2 weeks.
So we'll go from there. See how that goes.
Shout outs.
I want to thank all the TWR guys. They, I think some of them had a rough night.
Your owner in chat, scroll up, was not happy very early, but I'm assuming he's pretty happy pretty late here.
He probably tuned it off because he was so upset. And then, realized how good it was. So yeah, thank the TWR guys. It's great to have those guys in there. Thank the admin staff. Thank you guys for being in the booth. And then I also want to make, I don't know if it's public, so I'm not going to, go into names, but, I'm thinking for somebody, who lost a really close one, it seems like recently. So I'm thinking about them. Hopefully everything, it's not, not a very good thing to have happen. But I think everyone in the league standpoint's thinking about them. I think we missed them all tonight. And we look forward to having them back out the track.
Well, there you have it. Congratulations on the win. You're 3 for 3, so right now you're the league's version of how Scott Sharp was in the Indy Racing League, where he was the guy that won at least one race for like 6 or 7 seasons early on there. So someone's got to do it, and it's you.
I liked him, so I'll take it.
You know what? I like Scott Sharp too. A lot of people give him grief, other than the fact that he started on the pole, the 500, and then promptly put it into the wall in turn 1. But other than that, I like Scott Sharp. Congratulations on your part, and man, we look forward to seeing you in about 2 weeks here at Road Atlanta.
All right, thanks, guys.
See ya. Whew. Looking at chat here real quick, and I just want to be serious here real quick. I know the Brazilian fandom is not happy. They're saying it's a U.S. based or U.S. biased ruling. Okay, so I will say this: 1995 Indianapolis 500. The rule is you just don't pass the pace car. You don't pass the pace car before the track goes green. Scott Goodyear passed the pace car, and it cost him an Indy 500 win. The win was then given, even though he crossed the finish line first and took essentially would have been the 500th mile first and the 200th lap first. That win went to Jacques Villeneuve. Of course, it went from one Canadian to another, but I don't think it had anything to do with that. It just still was the rule. The rule was clear to me. That's why I wanted to double check at the end of all this. So unfortunately, even great drivers like Scott Goodyear, who I think he won like 5 or 6 IndyCar races, won a couple Michigan 500s, as a matter of fact. In fact, he's one of the few 2-time winners of the Michigan 500 in IndyCar history. They could do it. Just guys that normally are that would consider themselves competent drivers. Of course, he went on to become driver expert on TV. So we know what the guy's talking about, and he made a gaffe that cost him the biggest win of them all, and it happens. So even happens to the best. So I don't think what happened today, race control, it was against anyone from Brazil. We don't have a lot of Brazilian drivers in the league. We do welcome, of course, all the Brazilian drivers. We've had a good number of them, and they all do very well here. But I don't think it has anything to do with Bruno being Brazilian or not. We root for Bruno on a weekly basis, whether it be in fixed or the RAL, where he was almost a winner there. But unfortunately, it happens to the best of us, right?
Yeah, and it was a rule that was pretty well spelt out in the pre-race drivers meeting. It was spelled out pretty well going into this week that touching the apron in the race was a no-go zone for anybody under any circumstances. And the only sort of justification would have been if he was forced onto it, which he wasn't. He just simply maybe he got a bit too eager, maybe just simply made a mistake. The old habit died hard, and it ultimately cost him. It was a rule that was broken, and the penalty was enforced. Sadly for Bruno Miranda, that did cost him a win. I was kind of pulling for him to get his first win, if I'm being brutally honest here. I would have been happy to see him get into victory lane here. It sucks that didn't happen, but the rules are the rules. It's what keeps the sport keeps it somewhat professional, I guess you could say. It keeps it organized. If without a rule set, what else is there? But it's a shame to see that happen. Nate Siefker is probably very happy right now, but at the same time, it's definitely not the way he would have wanted to win. And for Bruno Miranda's fan club, we sympathize with you. We feel very bad that your boy cost himself the win through a mistake. But it was just that. It was a mistake on his part, and it ultimately cost him.
All right, so that will do it for tonight. Once again, your podium from the Endeavor Michigan 250, Nate Seifert, Gavin Sanders, and Caleb Benzie. That is the unofficial, but it looks like official podium as ruled on by Race Control. Join Steven and myself in 2 weeks as we return to the bread and butter of the FIS road courses. and make a stop at Road Atlanta for round 9 of season 2 of 22 of the RaceVerse Formula Indy Series. Start time 9 p.m. Eastern. Ring the bell. Mark calendars now. That's a Tuesday, 2 weeks from now, 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at youtube.com/RaceVerse. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support RaceVerse with the weekly grind and leave a comment below to let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video, just like this. If you're new, click subscribe. Let's turn that red button gray, would you? And while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more RaceVerse's iRacing programming, including the Monday Night Indy Fix Series with me and Steven. And on Saturdays, the Indy Open Strength of Field 2 p.m. Eastern race. We'll be covering that all season long. And that's here on RaceVerse. That's regular coverage every week. So keep your browser set here for the most in-depth coverage, IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. RaceVerse, we know what Indy means. Michigan 250 sponsorships paid for by CJazz Endeavors. From commercials to video games to books to blurbs. If you have voice work of any sort that needs to be done, Christian Jasper is your guy. Demos are ready upon your request, and he is eager to work on your project today. Contact Christian on Twitter at CJazz, CJAZ Endeavors on Twitter, and he can start working on your project right now. For business inquiries, learn more about RaceVerse and what we do, visit raceverse.com. Like us on Facebook or follow all of us on Twitter. Here's all of our handles right here. If they come up on screen, there they are. There's myself, RaceVerse, and of course, Steven. You can add him as well, and then you can start talking to us about iRacing, racing, IndyCar racing, you name it. We'll be happy to talk to you. So, for Steven Larkamp, everyone at RaceVerse, I'm Gary Gottschalk saying all thanks for watching, and to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and please come home safe. Catch us again in 2 weeks at Road Atlanta for the next race of the RaceVerse Formula Indy Series. Good night.